Okay, we are going to start on the Chapter 2 guided project for Excel. In Chapter 2, we're pretty much working on formulas, so we're going to use a few different formulas to calculate all the information in our invoice. And the good thing about formulas is the process is almost the same to find the formulas. The hard part is knowing what information to type in those formula boxes. So we're going to start by saving. So I'm going to go to File and Save As, and click on my desktop, so that's where everything will be. And we're going to jump right into step number 2. So it says in step 2, it says to click cell C15. So even though this doesn't look like the other spreadsheet, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just formatted to be a little different. And it says to click the insert function button. So we're going to go to the formulas tab, and we're going to go to the insert function. That's this one here. It looks like an F and an X. And we're going to type in the words VLOOKUP, and it doesn't have to be capitalized. And go. And then it was already in the list, but I just wanted to show you that it'll search. So VLOOKUP is there. We're going to select it, so we're going to click OK. And now the lookup value, we're basically setting it up to do some stuff for us. So the lookup value is what do we want the computer to look at in order to do what we ask it to do. We want it to look at cell B15. So rather than typing it or doing anything like that, I'm going to just take my mouse and click. And you could type this in if you wanted to. Okay, so B15, in the table array group, I'm going to click on the gift shop products tab, and I'm going to select A4 to F18. So again, if you look at the instructions, you can kind of see what's typed in there. I could have technically typed in using my keyboard this entire formula, but I can actually use my mouse to select those sections. And then it says to press F4 to what we call add an absolute cell reference. That just means that no matter what happens, it's going to go back to those cells. It's going to go back to here, between here and here. So now I'm going to click on the index number argument box, and I'm going to type in 2, because that's the column that we're going to look at. And then we don't have to actually put anything in the range lookup. Okay. So we're going to click OK. And so that's the description. I didn't have to type it in. If the item number happened to change, it would update my description. Now I'm going to copy the formula. We're going to do the same thing we did in Chapter 1 with that Minnesota, the state. We're going to click on cell 15, and I'm going to use the fill handle, this little square in the corner, and I'm going to drag it down to the next 2 items. So you notice it automatically put in the name of the product, because what it did is it went here and it looked up what is product number 103. So 103 is a coffee mug. Okay, that's what's going to go here. Now I'm going to do another one with some other references. So it says to click on cell F15, and we're going to use the same function. So we're going to go to the insert function button, but now VLOOKUP should be there. And we're going to click OK. Our value is going to be cell B15 again. B15. And table array, we're going to go back to the same thing. We're going to go back to the gift shop products and select all of the columns. Then we're going to click in the index, and we're going to, oops, I forgot F4. So after you highlight everything, you're going to type F4 on your keyboard. And then for the column, we are going to type column number 5 because we want it to look in that specific column. And then click OK. That's the unit price. And we're going to copy the formula down. So this is what they say to do in step 6. Now we're going to use a different function. So basically what VLOOKUP does is it allows you to use a specific thing. So like the item number, it tells me, okay, I'm going to look for item numbers in this information, and the column number is which column are you putting back. So the column that we're taking back is the one with the price. Step 6, we're going to create an if function. We're going to click on the invoice tab, make sure that's what we're working on, and we're going to go to cell E15, which is the back order. Basically what it's doing is it's going to give us, ask us for some information. So we're going to click on the insert function, and I'm going to type in if, and go, if shows up, so I'm going to click OK. For the logical test, now I'm looking in cell A15. And then it says what to type. So it says in step 4G to type the less than and equals, which is the caret above the comma, and then the equal sign. And then I'm going to click on the gift shop products tab, and I'm going to click on C5, which is the quantity of shorts that I have. Now I'm going to go to the value if true is no, and value if false is yes. So basically what I'm doing is I'm setting up a formula to tell me whether or not this item is on back order. And then I can click OK. So it's not on back order because I have more than 2 items. Basically the formula I just created said if the quantity that's being ordered is less than the quantity on hand, then it's a back order item and we can't send it to this customer right now. Then it says in step 6M to pretty much use the fill handle and copy the formula. None of those on back order. Okay. I'm going to use a multiplication formula, so you can also, rather than using just these functions here, if you use the equal sign, you can use Excel very much like a calculator. So in step 7 is a multiplication formula in here. So basically what we want to do is we want to calculate how much is that set of items going to cost. So we're going to type in equals the quantity, what's in cell A15, times what's in the unit price column. And then we hit enter. Should be $13.75. And we're going to select it and drag it down. So same process, it's looking at the quantity times the price. And we're going to apply the formatting, accounting format. So make sure that F15, excuse me, to G17, we're going to highlight it. We're going to go to the home tab, and in this section where it says number, we're going to choose accounting. We're going to use another function in step 8, so we're going to click in cell G31. We're going to use a sum if. It works very similar to the auto sum function we used in chapter 1, but we're going to set up criteria for when we want it to actually add up for us. So we're going to type so we're going to go to the insert tab, sorry, formulas, insert function, and we can type in sum if. It pops up. Click OK. The range we're going to put in there, E15 to E17. For this one, I'm just typing it on my keyboard. You can choose to highlight it if you want. Criteria is no. And then the sum range G15 to G17. And click OK. Now basically what we were saying is that if these are on back order, then we don't want to add that into the total because we don't want our customers to pay for items right now that are on back order. And then we're going to apply the accounting format. So, oops, home tab, general, we're going to choose accounting. One more set of formulas. We're going to use a formula to multiply. So it says to click in cell G33, and we're going to type, it's in red in the instructions, equals G31, and you notice I'm not even capitalizing, you don't have to, plus parentheses G31 times G32. So what I just did was to set up a formula that calculate my tax rate, which is this G31 times G32. That's my tax, and I'm going to add it to my subtotal. It's essentially what happens when you use a cash register. It does it for you automatically. And then hit enter. Okay. And it should be 6809. And it already has the accounting formula applied to it because you can see the dollar symbol. So now we're going to basically check our formula in step 10. So it says to select cell G31, click the Show Formulas button. So that's going to be on the Formulas tab. It's over here in this section where it says Formula Auditing. So we're going to click Show Formulas. So now we see all the formulas, and we're going to click on this button that says Trace Precedence. So it's basically showing us where those different cells are used in formulas. And we can just use it if we knew for sure that those are the formulas we wanted. We're double checking, making sure we don't have any mistakes. And then we can go to the Remove Arrows button in step 10D and the Show Formulas button. So basically it takes us back to our original invoice. And so if we want to, the last thing we're going to do is the date. So it says to click in cell E5. Rather than typing in the date, we're going to use a function called today. Basically what happens is every day that you open this, the date will change to whatever the date is that day. So we're going to type in equals today with parentheses, just like it has in the instructions, and then hit enter. And that's pretty much it. So now we can save, and you are ready to submit your project for grading.